Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. I think this morning was a bit of a shock to open the curtains to find that it was snowing, which was a bit of a surprise for everyone, I do believe. So hopefully it will stop very soon and everyone can get out and about into the shops that I know they want to, and those beer gardens, which will probably be cold today. But yeah, there we go. So there we go. Start off straight away. That's great. So hello to Ruth. Hello, Habs. Oh, thank you. You're very, very charming. Hello, beautiful. Hope you're well. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yay, there you are. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. As he said, it was a bit of a shock to look out of the window today and see snow. Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Cool. I was spending most of yesterday in the garden tidying up, so it was.
Yeah. I did that yesterday. I was in the garden, but I thought, God, it got really cold, didn't it?
It did. It did. Yeah. But it was, nothing like today, obviously.
No, I've got a big jump on. So, firstly, if you can introduce yourself and tell us what you make and what you sell.
Yes. So I'm Sarah Jane, or SJ, of SJs Fluff and Stuff. And I am a needle felting and wet felting. So I work in wool. And I make 2D and 3D pieces in wool. Some of them are a little crazy and bizarre. Some of them are more lifelike and realistic. Yeah. But yeah, so that's me.
Exactly. And why did you set up your business, and how did you come up with your business name?
Business name was an interesting one. I talk a lot about when I'm working. I work in fluff. And back when I was a kid, it's probably a little bit before your time, but there was a program called HR Puff and Stuff. So right. Thinking about SJ and Fluff, SJ's Fluff and Stuff came into my head, and I could not get rid of it. I kept about other options, but eventually I thought, well, it's fate. You know, I'm not going to get rid of it. Let's just stick with that. And I guess I set up my business because I'm a crafter by nature. You can see, you can see behind me. This is my craft room, and it's a case of I loved needle felting. It just immediately appealed to me because it was creative, but an artistic, and it kind of just hit every. And there's lots of lovely colours.
Yeah, definitely.
So I set up the business, I mean, primarily so that I could make pieces that would then go out and be enjoyed by other people. So sure. I would have more room to make more pieces. So that's primarily how and why I started.
Exactly. So whereabouts are you based, and where is your workspace, which I can probably see you're in at the moment, aren't you? That's no green screen.
Yeah, I'm based in Red Hill. This is my craft room, but actually a lot of the crafting that I don't do in here. The great thing about needle felting is that you can do it anywhere. So I spend a lot of time in the evenings with the telly on in the background, just for the sound, needle felting downstairs. But this is effectively my craft room. So you can see this section here is mainly felting. So there's all wools and things here. I've also got a great big wall of wool there, and then all sorts of other crafting bits as well.
Fantastic. And have you got a favourite item to create, and why? I know that all of your pieces are very unique, aren't they?
Yeah, they tend to be very, very much one-off. So one of the favourite pieces that I created was really early on in my needle felting journey. And my mum loves frogs, and I found a picture of a tree frog, one of these bright tree frogs with the bright red eyes, that was kind of holding on like that to two pieces of grass. So I thought that would just be amazing to do. And I loved that piece so much. And I gave it to my mum, and she still has it on display now. But it was a great piece to test the bounds of what you can do with needle felting. But my second favourite piece, and I know you only said one, but I just wanted to, this is my favourite piece. So this is, it's called Giraffe at the Waterhole. You can see that's meant to be the waterhole. But that's my second favourite piece because I started it when I was at a conference in South Africa. And it's the first time I've ever been to South Africa. So it was just an amazing place. And I'd taken my fluff with me so that I'd have something to do in the evening. And I thought, let's do something that's very typically African.
Yeah.
And Giraffe was what came out of it. So that's a favourite piece because of when it was started, rather than that.
Definitely. I'm going to say one thing as well, which is with you, when your store and you see something, you have to buy it. I have to show something to you. Is my favourite piece, and you know what it is this beautiful little pussycat. Yeah, as everyone knows, me and Rob, we both have two little pussycats called Kiki and Raja, who are just really special to us. And we just fell in love with this. So it sits with Joy in a lounge there. So, yeah, and the cats have never, ever touched it. But it's really, really, really special. It's just so cute. And obviously, when you come to events and you see Sarah and her stuff, if you find it and you fall in love with it, just buy it, because they just, you know, look at that. It's just stunning. And we also have, yeah, and a couple of years ago as well, we also, with your lovely husband, who was wearing that most amazing shirt, he really stood out, which was great. And we bought the little men, little Santa men. Rob bought one and I bought one. Mine very kind of looks a bit like me, actually, kind of grey and whatever. So they come out every year. I think Christmas is great. Yeah, everything at Christmas, there's new sort of stuff. But yeah, Pride of Joy, there we go. It was on the tree. So I just wanted to share that with you. So let's put him back in his place. There he is. So have you been working on anything new this year at all?
Yeah, so with the start of lockdown, I thought I'd invest in myself a little bit. So I went on a couple of courses, felting courses. And you will laugh at this. So I went on a hat making course. I wanted to show this. This was one of the first pieces that I made. So like a
wow. That's amazing.
It's not quite come out totally right, but I was really first effort. I loved that. And then I've not really had time to do that, because it's really really time consuming. So the second course I went on was one on 2D felting. So it was a dog felting course. So we do things like that. So dog portrait.
Wow.
So that's all wool.
Yeah.
All wool. And that was a real eye opener. And one of my other favourite pieces that actually sold and went over to Australia was a gorilla coming out of it was done on black felt, and it was coming out of the darks, and you just caught highlights on the gorilla's face.
Wow.
And that was just an amazing piece to create. And as I say, that went really, really quickly. That went off to Australia. So that's now hanging on the wall in Australia.
Wow. It must be quite weird, because I suppose when you're making them, you know, I know as well, I don't know if you have it anymore, you had like this Dutch hound, wasn't it? It was sort of like a life-size Dutch hound that you had. Yeah. But it must be when you have it that you kind of get quite attached to them, and then you have to let them go, don't you?
You definitely do. The gorilla was really difficult to let go. It was just. I mean, the picture itself. It came from a picture by a person who I'm on a Facebook group, and it was just the most beautiful picture. And so, you know, I had to translate it, and it was translated so well. That whole coming out of the shadow thing was really good. So I'm going to do a few more of those, I think. Not the gorilla, but the coming out of the shadows. With highlights and things works really well.
Yeah, and I suppose it's what's great about yours is, we can, I think we've been talking constantly about this. You can see the imagery on Instagram or wherever you do it on your website, but yours as well, with anything, it's to actually see it in the person, to actually understand what goes into it, isn't it? Yeah.
I always reckon that that actually the felted pieces, they don't photograph well. They don't photograph as well as they look in person. So if you see, for example, that giraffe, you see it in person, and the dachshund as well, you see it in person, and you can see the detail in the intricacies that just don't quite catch it. Maybe it's just my photography.
No, I'm sure. We have an ethos, as everyone knows, and I bang on about it. It's more about the customer service, but it's about being friendly, unique, and creative. Is there a kind of ethos that you stick by?
So I think my favourite, and it's a saying that I use quite a lot. Crafting is cheaper than therapy, and I think that's absolutely right. I mean, especially over the last 12 months, to be able to, you know, retreat into a creative piece and just let all the stress and, you know, all the hassles and all the rubbish that's happening in the world pass by you while you focus on a creative piece. And I think, to me, that's really that's really, and that's part of the reason that I love teaching. You know, it's because you can share that with people, and there's a great amount of relaxation, and people sit there stabbing away and they're saying, gosh, you know, this is actually really, really relaxing. So it's favorite saying.
Yeah, it's true. You know, like, it's really bizarre, but even sometimes when I'm on the sewing machine and I can just let go, and it's that vroom, and you just forget about everything. You're really, really focused on what you're making. Anything that's going on in the outside in the world, you just almost forget about, because you're so focused on what you're making, isn't it? It's
And you know, even when like your wonderful masks, you know, even when the outside world is intruding on what you're doing, there's relaxation in doing them. And I just love your masks. They are so characterful.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I don't know if you saw our post yesterday, but we have a lovely lady called Carol who she's just bought the new cat and the Citrus Bright, because she said, could you make them? And she actually, you know, she goes into her school, she has a camper van one, her Lego one, and that she's bringing joy to the children at school as well. And also, she's also said that she has more of our face masks than shoes. So, and it's just really those little stories, isn't it? That we're bringing that fabric, that's something that we've made, is bringing joy, not just to her, but the people that she, you know, the children that she teaches, which is just really, really lovely. So what are your goals and dreams for this year?
This year, to me, it's all about getting back into the teaching. As I said, I love teaching because it enables me to work with people and just bring, you know, bring needle felting to them, because it's not a really, really well-known craft. It's getting better well-known. Yeah. But people kind of don't know what to expect, and it's just the variety of things that you can make. I just love teaching. But the other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to do some really big pieces. So I have an image in my head of, you know, big garden tables with a single leg. I'd like to do a frog kind of like they're supporting a garden table like that. So doing some really big pieces. So keeping on with some of the small pieces that I do, because they're fun and people love them. Yeah. But I'd really get involved into making some big pieces. So that's my aim for this year.
I love the fact as well that you have all this in your head, and you just get it out, don't you? It's there, and it's like, I'm going to make this frog, and it's, you know, it's really lovely. Just go back with regards to your teaching, the workshop. Is that something that, I know it's been obviously the last year, but is it kind of getting groups together? Is there somewhere that you would meet? Is it a social thing? Is it sort of, how do you teach it as such?
So there's a few things that I do. So there's Knight's Haberdashery in Reigate. They run it. And there's a couple of ladies who run a wreath making course towards Christmas who I do courses for, but I also go into people's homes and do them. So if people had a group of 4 or more together, then I'll go into their homes and do a course. Usually maximum is 8 or 10, because you need to be able to get around to people, keep an eye on them, make sure what they're doing. But if people want to run courses for themselves or for a small group of people, and craft clubs as well. So I was meant to, all things being equal, I was meant to be doing a teaching session for a craft club last year. And that kind of went down the toilet to a certain extent. But yeah, so I do it for shops, I do it for clubs, and I'll do it for individuals as well.
Cool. And I think as well, you know, I think there's a real scope for you there, isn't there? Of you know, I think as well, I don't know if you have any men doing it, but you know, also you could have sort of team building, couldn't you, of sort of different, you know, businesses that could do this. A great way of them chatting about what they're going to be doing, but also making something. So I think if there's anyone watching this and later on, if they're thinking of new ideas to, you know, to get things out of your team members, then, you know, then do some felting and make something all individually. You know, it's a challenge then, isn't it, to everyone?
It's so creative. But I always say it's a very, very simple craft. It's very forgiving. And, you know, if you do something wrong, you cut it off and you start again. If it's too small, you just add more fluff. So it's such a forgiving craft. And if you can just break things down into simple shapes and simple steps, then it's easy as anything.
Start small. Always start small, Absolutely. Isn't it? And then you'll be making gorillas and all sorts next. So, who would you say? Yeah, who is your support network? Oh, sorry, did I talk over? Sorry.
No, it's all right. I was just about to say maybe I'll do a life-size gorilla next. That might take a while.
Definitely. The thing is, you will.
So, support network. So,
yes.
I've got my hubby, who you've mentioned already. Yeah. He's a great support. He puts up with me, and although needle felting is quite quiet, there is a as you needle felting. So he puts up with me and comes and helps me at the events, as you've said before. And my kids as well. So they're off at university now, but when they come and help me, and I think you've met them as well. But then it's business owners like the people who run Knight's Haberdashery, and people like yourself who are really looking to promote good crafting, you know, in what you do. They're kind of a bit of an unofficial support network, but they're important as the people who are actually physically there and supporting you, because I think there's too much that you see online that's, you know, brought in cheap from China, India, and you know, and it's people who appreciate the really good proper handmade that are it's really required by the crafting community. Yeah,
definitely. Thank you. No, it's really, really important. I think more than anything, with what we're trying to achieve with, you know, our events coming, there are some really great people out there, which is, you know, and it's all unique, isn't it? It's something that, you know, I had a couple of people who have contacted me and I've looked, and you're not part of what we're about. You know, it has to be that you make it, or, you know, it has to have that passion, because it's just, it takes away, doesn't it? And we've all been to those events where, you know, you've been there and all of a sudden they open their bag and it's all that tat that they've got off the internet, and it just brings you down as you think all the time and effort that you put into it. And I think now more than anything, now in the last year, talking to so many people, is realizing that your time and what you put into that, and when people will kind of diss it, it's almost like, well, hold on, this is my business, I have made this. If you don't get it, trot on you go to that customer in a polite way. It's true, isn't it? It's understanding.
That's exactly it. It's appreciating the time that people are putting into it, and the number of times I've had people look at a piece and say, gosh, that's expensive, and I think, right, okay, calculate time times minimum wage and then divide by half, and that's probably about where we are. So it's just a case of some people will never appreciate the value of it. They'll just look at the cost of it.
Well, maybe that's the thing you should do, of how many hours it's taken, and then they'll realise, won't they? And then say to them, how much do you get paid per hour? Then times it, whatever, and then they'll realise actually what they're getting. Exactly. So I haven't got it to my hand because I've whatever, but what events are you doing with Curated by Dapper Suave?
I'm doing the June and the October events. So that's June 13th. And October 3rd, I think.
October 3rd, that's it.
In Dorking Falls. So I'm so looking forward to it.
I mean, I am. I mean, as we said yesterday, I popped on here. Anyone sort of saying is June event on Friday, we have just sold out. We've got 42, as in the exhibitors, not sold out. That's my next job. So we have 42 exhibitors. We're going onto the stage, and all of the other events we are now full. So. You know, if anyone contact that, you know, I don't even know with regards to waiting lists, because there's waiting lists with other people that didn't get on. But that's really, really exciting, which is really good. So a lot of promotion now. That's what my next thing is, just to get out there and make sure that everyone that we have a full event. Obviously, it's ticketed, to make sure we've got 450 tickets. I will make sure that they are done. No pressure.
We can help you.
Exactly. So so why did you choose to work with Curated by Dapper Suave?
Well, it's mainly because I've known you for several years now.
Yes.
And I know who you are and what you like. I've seen the quality of the stuff that you produce. I like you as people.
Thank
and
you.
I know that you run great events. So, you know, to get back out and see, you know, and see people and meet people and do these craft fairs.
Yeah.
I want to choose the events that I think are going to be appropriate for the sort of stuff that I'm producing. So again, not the cheap tatty, you know, buy from China stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking to, I guess I'm kind of looking to raise my game a little bit as a crafter. So, you know, I'm not looking to do school events, which there are some very good school events, but I just think that for what I'm doing, the next step up is to actually concentrate on getting some good, high quality events. So yeah, Dapper and Suave were right at the top of my list.
Oh, thank you.
I work with, so I'm delighted.
And, you know, that is the thing, is, you know, that's the whole point of Curated and even handpicked. It was for us to be around like-minded people who have the same passion for what we do and, you know, what we make, and then other people and their passion goes into what they do. We've all got, you know, and then it becomes a great platform for all these lovely, amazing businesses, and this year as well, last year we had 9 new businesses. This year we've got 40, which is just 40 is amazing. So yeah, all scattered throughout the events as well. So that's really good. So, and also you'll get to meet all the people and just bouncing ideas off each other. And, you know, who knows, somebody could turn up and say, I want a gorilla made, and here's your lady.
Lifestyle gorilla. Yes,
a life-size gorilla. But you know as well, isn't it? Something as well that can be, you know, you can make something. It can be that showstopper in a shop, can't it? There's a talking point. You know, that we've seen all those programs where they design things, and you have that. You know, so who knows? You know, there's all different ways of putting our products, our craft out there as such, isn't it? In different environments.
Maybe a frog holding up a table.
God, yeah, it was so really, really lovely to speak to you again. I mean, we haven't seen each other for a while, because last time at the event your husband was there. But yeah, we're seeing. Is your husband at the next event? I mean, have you filled the form in? Yeah.
I've not filled the form in. It will be coming back to you today, though. You may not. It all depends, because if I don't know if you've heard in the background the snoring. It wasn't me. It's the dog. So it's a case of, you know, it's a case of what we do with her during the day if Sean comes along. But I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he'll come along.
Oh, excellent. So back again tomorrow. As I said yesterday, we're right up with brand new business right up until Bank Holiday Monday. So you're going to have to put up with me every day at 10 o'clock. No weekends off. I'm here every day at 10, which is great. Tomorrow we're joined by Jezzy from Jez Design. So really looking forward to speaking to her. Yeah, really great to see you, Sarah. And we'll see you all again tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.